I'm going to title this one, Letting Our Hair Down. I was running on a schedule pretty consistently for about a month. I think over a month we'd been going. Of a video a day. Some days 2 videos a day. But somewhere halfway between this past week, well, a bit earlier than that, I started to kind of lose traction with my social kind of field. But yes, I stopped posting daily because I hit a bit of a something. Well, it just did pick up. Making the videos took a back seat on what was a priority in my life. And what became a priority was figuring out what the fuck I'm doing again. Not so much what I'm doing, but why I'm doing what I'm doing based on who I am. So I'm coming to more insight into kind of my beginnings, I suppose. Childhood shit, the way that's kind of shaped me. People who become my friends usually are somewhat similar to me, and sometimes I think like, oh, it's weird that these other people are so similar to me, but at the same time, no one's really like me. And I don't mean that in like a look at me, I'm special type way. I mean it in quite a lonely way. And again, I don't think that's special to me. I think that's something we all probably feel. Like we have friends and family, relationships, but no one really knows us. No one really is like us. It's an alienating feeling, I suppose, more than anything else. Because it's not necessarily lonely, but it's alienating. To have the world appear so different. For our motives and reasons for doing things to be so different. It's incredible, and it's surprising, and it's scary. We're letting our hair down. There's no topic for this one. We're just gonna smoke together if you want to smoke, or don't, because you shouldn't. One thing I've realized, you can't hide anything. Like, I don't mean you can't like air out all your dirty laundry for everyone to see. I don't mean that, but I mean that if you've got something you're trying to hide, that you're trying actively for other people not to find out, then even if they don't consciously ever find out, they feel it unconsciously. Yo, Grob hitting me up. Shout out Johnny. I gotta get back to the schedule. It's only a little detour. One of the things I think I've realized is why I have so much trouble with consistency. Might be a little convoluted for me to explain to you, but it's kind of like the cover story I've come up, at least in my understanding of why I'm like this. Having grown up my entire conscious life from like the age of 2 upwards, like I wasn't conscious at 2, but from 2 onwards, I've existed either with my mum or with my dad in separate places, and they have not been able to communicate with each other very well. So I've somewhat been the angel that passes communication between the 2 worlds of existence, the 2 planes. That one of my dad's, which was kind of confusing and scary, but also taught me a lot. And that of my mum's, which is a safer, more compassionate place to rest. I was like the angel of communication between the 2 because they could not communicate. And that's kind of led me to not so much like communicating socially with people, because I just have a kind of baseline anxiety, because in the back of my mind it's like I need to be it's up to me to make this not go bad. Like there's always felt like a tremendous kind of weight that it's on me to make sure stuff doesn't go south. And that's just kind of warped the way I view not view, but interact in relationships, because I'm always a bit worried that shit's gonna turn angry or destructive when it most likely definitely will not. 99.9% of the time you interact with humans, it doesn't. It's not like that. But I have a fear of that constantly, that it's going to be something scary. And yeah, I'm thinking that is a lot based off just my entire childhood life. The only kind of the relationship between my parents was one of great animosity, and my role, if anything, was to kind of ease the 2 on their own ends. But that also involved, like, on my dad's end, a lot of deception. Yeah, there's a lot into it. But that leads me to be like constantly switching between worlds, constantly switching between realms of experience and how I operate the world. And that leads to me to be every now and then pretty inconsistent, as we've seen with the Raise Mundane videos. Got super consistent for a month. Then we went to Dad's house, metaphorically. I haven't seen that motherfucker for months. But metaphorically, we went to Dad's house and shit kind of got a bit overwhelming. And we had to take a break. We had to lean on some of our old habits. A lot of my ways of dealing with my stress hormones. But once we get back into that consistency, this will go away as well, because I know it's all causes and conditions. As the consistency comes back, this will dampen down. And then eventually, as the consistency will wade back again, this will come back. And there'll be a lot of ebbs and flows until this ocean becomes completely calm. Ha! Ha ha ha! Someone once told me that I'm like an ocean. Very beautiful, but very scary. Can be very scary. And that's something I don't think a lot of you guys know. But I'm terrifying. I'm considered dangerous. To myself, at least. And I guess to some people. So I just finished a joint. We let our hair down. Reppin' Trash Gang. One of the things that's come from thinking a lot more just about family upbringing shit is that that role that I had as kind of the intermediary between my parents and those two worlds that have been separate throughout my entire experience has kind of led to the childhood, the child, I guess, in me, the emotional part of myself, to seek to unite those two worlds, in a sense of seeking to unite the mother with the father. However, as an adult, intellectually I can see, and for my life, I've kind of seen that my parents aren't meant to be together. They cannot deal with each other. I can accept that intellectually and as an adult and as just an obvious thing from kind of my experience from life. But that doesn't, my intellectual ability to understand things doesn't cut into the bones. It doesn't cut into my bones deep enough to reach that child self, which still kind of seeks to unite its family. Like, I feel like never having had a family in the sense that we usually consider families. I've always unconsciously been seeking to unite whatever could be my family into its original state, to reunite it. Reunion. Becoming one again. Uniting. Unity. And so, being unable to get away from that kind of emotional urge to unite things, but consciously knowing it's not for me to unite my parents because they're not meant to be united. Consciously, intellectually, I see the world as fragmented, completely fragmented. And that's like what's the word? We could extrapolate outwards from that initial relationship with my parents being two fragments that not coming together. And we could extrapolate that fragmentation to the world. And from my perspective, it seems as though this world is the world is something united, but we don't engage in the world as though it's united. For some reason, we engage in the world the same way kind of my parents engaged with each other. Like, with animosity and with not being able to accept that we're a family. And so I think what's happened here with this individual is I've used that fuel of seeking a family to drive me to unite the world. And I think I'm trying to do that through my music. I think that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to look for that family. I've been trying to see out in the world and see who else feels this way. Who else feels this way about the world and feels that lack of unity. And those people must be my ultimate family. Or at least a greater family than what I was seeking. What the child in me was seeking, at least. I'm seeking family in the world. Which is why it feels so right for me to call all of you my siblings. Because it does seem like that to me. In whether I'm thinking about it intellectually, or whether I feel it emotionally. We all have that same feeling and seeking. But I think mine, for some reason, is just... I don't know. There's a lot of this is just stuff I'm thinking about. And it takes me a long time to come up with something that makes sense. Because this shit doesn't make sense. The world doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that we can't all get along. But at the same time, it does make sense considering the condition we're in. We're in a condition of heightened stress, heightened fear and anxiety, and that brings out distrust. One of the things I learned from being on that retreat is that for us to be able to have calm and peace within our mind, we need to feel safe in our body. By which I mean we need to have an environment in which we can completely relax without fear of anything. We can't be fearing anything in the external world while seeking inner peace. Because that just disturbs the calm on top of the lake. The more going on in the external world, the more going on in the external world is just like increasing turbulence on the top of a lake. Turbulence, ripples, little waves, rocks keep being thrown in, and it's not clear on top of the lake. It's like being involved in these external things, and at the root of those external things is feeling safe. We're trying to secure some kind of safety, if that's only for a small while. It's not eternal. There is no refuge in this world, Well, at least I think that. I don't even know if I know it, but at least I think that right now. Transparency. I want to be open with you guys, with my family. I don't want to hide things. I don't want to model my dad and deceive or hide, because that doesn't work in a relationship. It doesn't work. So, for that reason, I want to be transparent. I want to be open. Which is why I smoked this motherfucker with you. Because usually, well, at least one of the last video or two, I would smoke it beforehand to make myself feel good enough to do it. But you know what? Let's just show that shit. Let's show ourselves. Let's be real. I'm shit at social relationships. Let's be real. That's one of them. I can't keep consistent with people because I've never really had a model of consistent relationships. Never been able to be close with friends for long periods of time. I need a lot of space. I need that back and forth between worlds. And one of the worlds is engaging with people, and the other world is the inner world, in which I can just be with myself and kind of configure my experience. Because the world is overwhelming. And I often need to just withdraw and configure what I've learned. Because there's constantly so much to be integrated into our beings. If you've still got your hair up, let it down, at least before the end of the video, so you will have partaken in the letting of the hair of the down. I love you guys. I guess it's time for me to just think some more, read some more, get to work. I've updated you guys. I don't need to give you my life story. It's too much for me to tell you. But it's all probably only just important for me to figure it out. You don't need to know. You got enough info in this video anyway. Smash the like button. And subscribe if you're not and would like regular content on learning and expressing it ourselves. I'm a rascal. I'm a rascal, and you are too. You're all rascals. I love you, my siblings. See you soon. Schedule's gonna be